Hello YouTubers, this is Len Mooney and
Riken.
today we're going to show you guys some of the pickups that we've done recently. And it's going to be a mix of Wii, One Wii U, PS4, PS2, Switch games, a good amount of Switch games, DS, one 3DS game, and something extra at the end. So yeah, we're going to get started with our pile for the Wii section, and that's going to be the Metal Slug Anthology. This anthology contains Metal Slug games for 1 through 6, as well as Metal Slug X, which was essentially...
Yeah, Metal Slug X is basically Metal Slug 2, yet it uses the Metal Slug 3 engine. And so when we're playing through the second one, we did notice some slowdowns when there's a lot happening on screen. So Metal Slug X, with using the Metal Slug 3 engine, it didn't have that slowdown. And it added a bit more enemies on screen, and so a lot more chaos and what have you. And even, I think, like one extra ability or something where, like, if your character was eating a bit,
there was more enemies too. Like, there was a little bit of different enemies and stuff.
Oh yeah,
that was
different
available
enemies on top of that. So... yeah, and I think at one point there were some food items that would heal you, but if you ate too much, your character became fatter.
Yes, and then there'd be, slow down with your character and causing you issues there if you weren't careful. But then it would disappear after a bit, but then you could encounter that problem again from that same stage, though. Yep.
But right off the bat, you have unlimited credits. You can just keep playing. We haven't quite figured out how to do it, like, hard mode or whatever, but we just kept playing through it, and we did die a lot, but we had fun, and that's what's awesome. We can just keep playing through it.
This is true, guys, because I am so sorry. There's no way in the world that I would be able to get through this without the infinite lives.
That one we picked up at for $20, so not a bad deal.
Not a bad deal considering, yeah, there was 6 games on it. The next one we decided to get at another game store, and this is called Lost in Shadow. We decided to pick this up for the fact that, well, whenever I looked at the back, I thought it was an interesting premise for the game, where you have the background and the foreground, but instead of, you're taking control of your character through the background, through the stuff that you're jumping at, you're actually more so, you're the shadow, and you have to go jump through stuff that's in the background, but you also have to change some things that are in the foreground for it to be affected within the change the background in order to change the stuff in the foreground so that you can be able to get through to different areas. So we just picked this up for the fact that it looked quite unique, and we'd never actually really seen any type of platforming like this that would use the foreground as its main mechanic, so we thought that this would be pretty interesting.
Platformers are always fun to pick up, and this one seemed like a unique one that we never heard of before, so...
I still wish kind of like it would have been maybe a 2-player game. I think that would have been a neat thing to do, but... I guess we'll see.
I mean, The Boy and His Blob, that's a single-player game, but we play it 2-player.
Oh yeah, one of us plays with the Wii remote and one plays with the nunchuck.
Yep, and we get through it pretty
good.
And
we get through with it. And
so
then
we'll probably do the same on this one, depending on how it works out.
I mean, there are still lots of deaths, don't get me wrong, because with the timing, if you're not good with the timing, then your character just dies regardless, but it's fun. I don't know, maybe put them...
Yeah, we'll show them next to each other.
Okay, so these were both dirt cheap. And from what I've been searching online, because technically I had played this a long time ago whenever the Wii came out. My first game was Tales of Symphonia, Dawn of the New World for the Wii. And I can't remember when I got the Epic Mickey originally. And I don't know where it went. When we got this it was $2.99, so why not? I know it did have problems kind of plagued with the fact of the camera not being able to really like zone in on your character much. Sometimes it would just kind of like focus in on other stuff. And to my knowledge, I don't think they really fixed that with the second one. But for as cheap as they were, honestly, just give it another go since I only played a little bit of this. think it'd be something cool to try again.
Yeah, I think the first Epic Mickey was $2.99, and then the second one was probably $4.99 or not even $5. And it wasn't until after we bought the second one that we noticed, oh, they also released it for the Wii. Well, we have the Wii U version, so there we go.
Yeah, because with this one you have the main thing of like the paint and then the paint thinner. So there's parts in the world where you have to actually use the paint thinner to make things disappear. To maybe like go through stuff or grab other items and stuff. And then they add like 1 or 2 like new mechanics within the second game. So
the second game's 2-player, first game's single player, but again, we can probably make it work.
We sure can.
Then moving on to PS4.
Okay, pronouncing this name right, hopefully. Deponia. This is a adventure point-and-click game. And I'm trying to think of why this kind of draws us into it. Because for me, I think what drew me in, well...
The art style?
The art style and the fact that, one, it wasn't a lot of sports games that were in the pawn shop. Because I felt sad, but in that pawn shop there was just numerous amount of sports games. And if that's the thing that you like, then that's great. But for us... Sorry guys, you might be hearing some background noise. My bad. But yeah, one of the things that really caught our attention was the art style. I was about to say the background. The art style for it.
Art style.
Yeah.
It is very interesting, and so.
And I have played a couple point and click games, and to me, I don't find that type of style like anything to really like be turned off about it.
Yeah, $10 pawn shop. The only good game we can find there.
I felt sad because the guy was asking, do you guys want to get anything else from the cage or from the wall? And I'm like, no, we're good.
So many sports games.
We're good. No, we're good.
A lot of repeats.
There is a lot of repeats. There's a lot of duplicates over there.
But next, you found this a great deal.
Yes, and I have one friend that just really loves the Dragon Quest Builder. Well, he was talking a lot about the first one. Kind of missed out on the first one. We both technically played the demo for Dragon Quest Builders #1, and even though we don't have #1, this one was a great deal for $10.
Brand new.
Brand new, and I don't know if it is still $10 at Target, but it was at the time earlier. What was it? Last month in January? I think it was in January that we got it.
Reversible cover art too.
It came with inside. Yes.
But what did it come with inside?
It came with a little code. It says stackable slime recipe. And I don't know why it says expiration is 2029. That's funny.
Oh, that way we don't forget to use it. We'll need to remember to use that soon.
Yep.
Alrighty, and then a random batch we were not expecting.
Yep.
PS2 games.
Yay! Oh, this is great because it was funny. Riken and I were just looking at the PS2 section, and then there was a lot that just didn't have any stickers on them. They didn't have price tags on them. And so when we took the games up to the front to check out, and we kind of mentioned that to the, you know, the
salesperson.
The salesperson over there. They just said, oh yeah, we just put those out recently and I just haven't had a chance to like tag them yet. So that was great. And we were able to pick up, I think, some really interesting ones. There were some that I was able to, well, now, later on today, be able to watch a bit of footage for them. Or like there was some that kind of like screamed out to me like, hey, this kind of reminds me of this type of style game and whatnot. And, oh yeah, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that second part of it right though. The La Pucelli Tactics. I don't know if that part I'm pronouncing wrong or butchering it. Sorry if I am. But Nipponichi Software.
And the puppers.
Yep. So this game just screams out whenever you think of like Disgaea series. But it looked really interesting and cool. And the premise of the protagonist just not really caring about... well, no, I don't want to spoil that part. But let's just say that she's not your standard protagonist, and I think that's what's very interesting about her, what kind of makes you actually want to care about her more within the story.
Oh, okay. Then...
Breath of Fire, Dragon Quarter. I don't think, like, this is a series, like, I don't know if this is number 5 in the series. I don't think either of us have any of the other games for this one. Honestly, I can't think if we have. But this one I think is supposed to be completely, like, different than the other ones beforehand and using different kind of mechanics. In this one you do have the option to where, like this character, he can transform into a dragon, or like use dragon type powers, but you only have like a certain number that you can utilize with him, and on the top right there's a counter, and if that counter goes all the way down, you die, essentially. No matter at what part in the game you're in, whether that's the beginning, the midpoint, or at the tail end of the game. So you have to really figure out when you want to let him utilize that type of power or not, or else it can be have consequences. But then there will be times where, like, if you use all of his lives, you can be able to have it set to where you can be able to revert back to the beginning of the game.
Oh, okay.
If you want to.
Okay.
So I thought that was really cool.
And Magic...
Pendule?
Pendule? The Quest for Color.
The Quest for Color. And this one, honestly, I just liked because it just screamed uniqueness to it. I am attracted to stuff that just screams like this is an oddball. And when I like to read the back of stuff that's an oddball type thing, and this is it. What this game has in it that I thought was really cool is that you actually make your own characters. You build them. And you can be able to store up to 200, and well, technically on the original PS2 on the 8 megabyte external card, you can be able to put 200. But I'm guessing you can do a lot more now if you have the backwards compatible PlayStation 3 for your doodles. But essentially it just says that, you know, the sky's the limit. The only limitation is your imagination when creating the doodles. But this one should be... Because this was one of the games, right, where it's like 2-player?
Yeah, well, it is 2-player, but just for the combative part, so you can both battle each other and draw your quick doodle and then battle and see whose doodle wins. And yeah.
Yeah,
I think most of the main story is just single player, but yeah, battle it out against a friend in 2-player matches to see who can make the greatest doodle of them all.
Oh yeah, and this was the one that unfortunately, out of all the other games, technically these 2 games here were the easiest to find for the salespeople over there at the game store, that they were able to find in the drawers. Now when it came to these 3 games right here, they had to hunt and try to find them, and it took 2 more people to try to find 3 more games.
So 3 people to find 3 games, and at one point, at least for this one, they were going to say, okay, well, let me get your name and phone number. We'll call you back once we find it. But I'm like, hey, can someone else try to look for it? And
not meaning any disrespect to the other gentleman that, you know, found these 2 or anything, but just we wanted to ask so as to get, you know, someone else's, you know, go ahead for trying to see if they could find it.
Well, actually, I think it more happened of one guy was looking for it and said he'll come back, but then other people were talking to him, and so he got distracted. And so one of the other employees came by and wanted to help us, and so he wanted to look for him. Like, yeah, he was also looking for this one, and so he was able to find it real quick.
Yes.
And so yeah, not rudely asking. That's not how it happened. The other guy just came and looked for it. Yeah.
So the games, after they were able to find them, they stacked them all in a nice little pile, and they put them close to a power strip. Power strip or surge protector? Surge protector?
Same thing. Power strip, surge protector.
Well, yeah. Where you can be able to plug in other stuff, and that leads to the wall. So on the power strip itself, it had a plug for the TV, and that TV that they would use to display, like, if they were testing out other consoles and stuff to be able to see. So there was two things plugged in. One was the plug-in for the TV, and another thing that was plugged into that power strip was like a Glade plug-in air freshener. So, you know, that's the thing that has like the oil and stuff. So this is example A right here, what happened. I didn't think anything of it originally whenever they stacked them and it was close to the surge protector, but whenever they brought the games over to the counter before we were to pay for it, I wanted to look through the games just to see the discs at, you know, what condition they were in, like if they were badly scratched, did they need to go through the machine to be buffed a bit or not. Whenever I touched the Magic Pengle, when I touched this one, it was wet on the outside of the cover, and I was like, why in the world is this game wet? And so I looked over to where they were originally. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's like the pool of the Glade, you know, plug-in stuff. It's like right next to the surge protector where it's turned on, you know, with the TV to it, and that's what's causing it. That pool of oil, the liquid just ended up saturating the cover art for that game, sadly. The good news is that whenever you flip the back, you can't really tell that it's been heavily saturated. The bad news is if you try to sniff it, you will still smell that fantastic Glade smell. Slash, if you look on the inside, you will see that it's heavily saturated. But luckily, because of the way that it's, what is it called? Kind of like...
the colors and everything, you can't really tell unless you really look for it.
Yeah, because the back cover looks more like a watercolor type thing right here. So I can't really tell from the top midsection to the bottom how it would, you know, if there's anything wrong with it unless you flipped it on the inside. So that's the good news. And hopefully, because we did inform, you know, the people over there that they should, you know, disconnect everything right away. They didn't do it right away. We just mentioned it to them, so...
yeah, at least twice we mentioned, you should unplug that right now.
Yeah, because we don't want this place to burn down in flames.
Exactly.
Guys. But hopefully, yes, they did that, because no one wants a game store or any store to just burst in flames. Ugh.
Now, these two, I haven't played this one yet, but I have played this one a lot as a kid. And basically, for Dark Cloud, it's kind of randomly generated, to my knowledge, dungeons where you fight monsters and level up your characters. But you also build the world of each location. You have different people in the area, and you kind of talk to them, you learn about them, and you figure out how the town needs to be built for them. You know, this person likes to be close to this person likes to be close to this building, and that's mainly the gist I remember about it. I remember being fun, I remember lots of different areas going to it, and thoroughly enjoyed it. But not keeping an eye out for the second one, and you know, some people are saying, you know, this one's better, you know, this one's just as good or has better qualities. I'm like, oh, let's get both, and they're both decently priced. This one, they had two of them over there, one with the greatest hits, but like, yeah, let's see if we can get the one without the greatest hits on it, just to be, you know, nice and original.
Whenever looking at some of the video footage from, or like the review a little bit of Dark Cloud and Dark Cloud 2, it's supposed to be for Dark Cloud 2 that even if you haven't played Dark Cloud, that you can play the game separately. Like, you won't miss essentially much of anything if you were to start with Dark Cloud 2.
Right. So, yeah. Yeah, it's a lot different art style, because Dark Cloud 1 is definitely a bit more darker tone. That's what people peg it as. So it's going to be interesting.
I feel like I didn't really give this game much of a chance, because I know there was one point whenever I was saying, like, I'm trying to remember why I didn't care for it in the beginning, or tried a little bit of it. Maybe because I didn't go far at all into the game. So eventually I will need to give it another try, because it has such high praise from people.
Alright. But yeah, we're, again, just going into the store trying to find a 3DS game, and didn't find it. We're gonna leave quickly.
I mean, there was 3DS games, but there was none of any interest. Which was funny, because we made out like bandits for the PS2 games.
Yeah, because we were just going to look for the 3DS and then hop out. Let's go glance at the PS2, and then boom, there we are. But another fantastic deal.
This was a fantastic, awesomely awesome deal, guys. I was so happy.
Brand new. How much did you get it for?
$30. This thing was 50% off. It was $30. Because at Target, for whatever duration in January, it had dropped from $60 down to $30. And I don't know if, honestly, you guys, if you can get it for $30 anymore. What I would suggest is that if at your local Target you do see this still on the shelves, and if you go up to a price scanner and you scan it and it says item not found, that you talk to the lead of that department in the electronics section and ask them if they're willing to sell it to you. You know, because at that point in that decision making, if it's an item not found, they'll either, you know, they might do, you know, sell it, or maybe they might try to, you know, salvage it out, depending on their decision. But yes, please ask somebody. If you do see this at your Target, if it's still $30 or what, so that maybe you can get a good deal.
And then next set of games are from Limited Run.
Yes. Wait, did you play originally the first one with your dad?
So the original Blaster Master was on the NES, if I'm right, and my dad played through it and you know, thoroughly enjoyed it. These are, from what I know, kind of, they're not really released. You know, I don't have all the information. I'm probably completely wrong, but same game mechanics. You know, you are in that little vehicle. You can hop out of the vehicle and stuff like that. So, but I have it digitally on the 3DS and played through it and enjoyed it. And we literally flipped a coin and said, sure, let's go in and get both of these, because they look very fun and enjoyable. Yeah, just like Limited Run, you know, you get your instruction manual most of the time, or a card, and so
yeah. And we have the cards are inside the little booklets themselves. Like they should be like on the first or second page. But all the ones that we've gotten from Limited Run so far are like they're copies of what shows, you know, for the manual or for the front cover art for them. But I have seen online that some people are receiving different variant cards. So for us, we receive the front cover art. Others will receive like other different variations, which is pretty cool.
yeah, put that there.
Because not the first one, the second one is where you can play 2-player, right?
No, still says one player.
I got it wrong. It's this one.
The first one.
The first one you can play 2-player.
We'll have to see what kind of mechanics it is for 2-player. So I wonder if it's going to be the same like the main story mode. Is single player still? But we'll have to wait and see.
Yes, because we still need to try to beat Aegis Defenders.
Yes, Aegis Defenders. My gosh, playing that by yourself, I don't know how that's even possible.
No, playing it by yourself for me would have been so brutal and painful. Suffering. But fun, enjoyable. I like the character cast and the mechanics are really cool.
So another game from Limited Run. Apparently every year they do a like Christmas sale type thing where it's a blowout sale and they get rid of extra stock they have. And so I played a bit of this on the eShop and thoroughly enjoyed it. And when this sale hit, I definitely wanted to get something and skipped out on Bloodstain that we wanted to get.
That's true, but to be fair, I think like right when we checked, right when the sale started, like
it was there,
and then it was
gone,
guys. Like if you blinked, it was just gone. So
instead, we picked up a physical version of this game.
Yep.
And like most people say, it's like Link to the Past. It is, but it's very fun, nonetheless. And what's funny enough is when we got this one, it came with 2 cards. One is this limited run, 5-year anniversary thing. Came with stickers and all that stuff. But the card it came with an Aegis Defenders card, a card we didn't have Because we got Aegis Defenders from Best Buy.
Yep, so that one's now in that case to complete it. This one is called Ion Fury, and essentially kind of like Duke Nukem 3 type style game. So more so where it's like first person perspective. You'll have different type of handguns, and you'll have grenades available to you, and you'll have different modes for, like, you know, they're not called, I don't think, easy, normal, hard, but they may be. Whenever I had looked up a bit of information upon it and stuff, and it had a lot of rave reviews. And I think that's kind of, I feel bad, but I think that's one of my weaknesses, is playing a game that is a first-person perspective, because for whatever reason, I seem to get a bit nauseous and sometimes a light headache when playing certain first-person games. And that was kind of the case with one of the Wii games of Metroid. And with, I felt like I was getting better at it because I'd watched it so much whenever you were doing the gameplay for Gravity Rush. But originally when I had tried that, it was quite painful because I just would only watch a little bit and I'd have to like readjust. So the game looks phenomenal. It looks like there's a whole bunch of fun stuff there, and also there's supposed to be, like, in different areas when you progress, like, there's different secrets. So you can collect like all 10, 12, however many secrets, and you can, if you want to be a completionist, you can be able to do that as well in the game. So I think that's pretty fun.
Then the last Switch game, dual pack game, actually.
I think that one was $8.99. Yeah, it says it's called the Galaxy Zoid. Oh wait, Void. The Void. I said Zoid. And then the Skulls of the Shogun Bonafide Edition. This is 2 complete games with all the DLC for it. I have watched a little bit for both of them. I do know that the top one, unfortunately, says that it might have, or does have, microtransactions. So I'll just have to, well, we'll just have to see if those microtransactions are really kind of an inconvenience, or honestly not by much, because I don't plan on shelling out any extra money for that game, in all honesty. But since it was $8.99, I can't even say $8.99. Since it was $8.99, we thought, why not? Let's give it a shot.
And then another DS now.
An actual game that wasn't a sports game, or like let's just say that whenever we got it at the game store, like, this was the only game really that had its original cover art manual. That wasn't a title where we hadn't seen it in the last few months. It was something new. So that was very surprising. And we do have, you know, for the Switch, like the collection of
Trial of Mana collection.
We have the Trial of Mana collection. And never heard of Children of Mana. We have Sword of Mana for the GBA. But just to give that one a try for the DS. Because honestly, I don't know if this one has like any elements that are from the previous games or not, or if this is its own entirely like own story itself. But I think it'll be pretty interesting.
And then our last game.
This one's called The Story of Seasons Trio of Towns. This one you found in
at the same place we got the PS2 games.
Oh, okay. That's right. Whenever you stopped by over there. Okay. We do have the first Story of Seasons. It doesn't have its original case, but I'm trying to remember how much that one was. I feel like it was either $10 or less than $10 when grabbing the first game. But if you enjoy farming, at least from the first game that I played a bit of, it's pretty good.
And a fun info thing about which pet is for you.
Oh yeah, I got a little kick out of that. I'm trying to remember which animal I ended up getting.
I think you ended up getting the Shiba, or
It might have been.
I know you're gunning for the Chihuahua.
I
guess
know.
the cricket.
Last thing that we wanted to show you guys is this 3DS XL. And one thing that's great about it is that whoever took care of this before we bought it, they took really good care of it. So there's just a little slight scuffing here on to the sides, a little bit of, you know, scratches maybe here and there that are very light. But besides those, the stylus is in working order. You know, it's not chewed up or anything like that, damaged by a kid. It had its 4 GB SD card. And, you know, the auxiliary port isn't jacked up. The the game cartridge slot is not jacked up, which is phenomenal. The cameras function like they should. The circle pad hasn't been ripped to shreds. The buttons are not gooey and icky when pushing them down. The select, start, home button are perfectly fine. Very minimal to almost no scratches for the bottom screen. They might have had a screen protector on it, but then decided to take them off before selling the handheld. We don't know. But it was just in great, excellent condition. And for a second, whenever I had kind of looked down in the glass cage where it was located with some other games, I thought I was misreading things for its price tag, because it was saying that it was like $94 before tax. And so I was kind of like looking at it real quick. I'm like, no, it doesn't say that it's damaged or anything, or that, you know, sell as is. So when we asked the seller for it, he's like, no, it should, you know, be perfectly fine for it. So we tested it out,
and it worked. And it even came with the charger too, so, you know, that's even another good bonus. Charger worked perfectly fine.
Yep. And Riken prefers the blue over the red anyways.
Yes. Well, I just like blue rather than red. And yeah, I've been testing it out. Been playing a bit of Chrono Trigger on it, and works great.
Yep.
No complaints so far.
Oh, note to self, guys, if you get like an older like 3DS XL and you try to go online to get a clear case for it.
So the original Hori case, Hori, are fantastic cases. We have them on all of our 3DSs that we have, but they're selling for about $80 to $100 now.
Yep.
And this, what brand is this? Instin case. It's about $9 on Amazon and other places. So,
but just be careful with this case, because if you do get this brand, make sure to run your fingers along the top and bottom piece. And if you feel like there's any type of sharp edges, take a small little file and just kind of file it down so that it can be able to be smooth on all of its sides. Because some people on Amazon that sell it have kind of put into, you know, their comments that it has actually, you know, scratched their handheld, so just file it down. And there's actually some light scratching due to the filing that you see, but
yeah, there were some, you know, rough edges here, right here on the side, and here on the other side. The bottom part of the unit was great, but this top part, you had to file a little bit around it, and finally when it was smooth enough, then applied it. Because yeah, I did not want, because people, yeah, they have reviews of them being scratched up. I'm like, nope, that's not going to happen to this one.
Yep.
But I want it protected. But I'm not paying $100 for a case.
No, and that's really sad that happened.
But yeah, here we are.
Yep. And so far, Riken's been playing Chrono Trigger on it for the DS on that 3DS XL. Yes. But yeah, this is pretty much it for this pickup video, guys. We hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down in the comment section down below so that we can be able to see them and be able to respond back to you guys. We hope you guys have a good day or good night wherever you are, and we'll talk to you guys later. Bye, guys!
Goodbye.